So, hello Internet. This is IPython and Jupyter dev meeting for March 1st. Welcome and let's start. We are only a few people today, so hopefully it will be fast. So here in Berkeley, still in the process of hiring, screening people for the project manager position. It's going okay. We should have hopefully getting to the next step in the process by the end of the week. I've also been reviewing the install and be extension PR with John, which is quite big. So I would appreciate more eyes on that, people trying it, and we should actually, I think, write a bit of documentation and maybe have a canonical package to show to people how to publish an extension using Python packages. It's quite a bit to get in, and I would like also to discuss whether we should support or not many extensions in only one Python package. Most of the API is basically using package name as a key to enable an extension, and I can perfectly see people publishing one package with many small extensions, and I want to make sure we don't block ourselves for the future with the current API. So if you can get into the PR, try to work a bit on it, that would be really great. And I've been also working a bit upstream on prompt toolkits. As you might have seen, Thomas' PR got merged, I think 2 weeks ago, and now we have nice highlighting and coloring in the normal terminal shell, which seems to please a lot of people on the internet, which is quite nice. There are a few bugs, so I've been working upstream. And yesterday, I also had some discussion more privately on small thread with people about how to publish things on the blog and the guideline and reminder of what things need to be done before publishing. One of the issues is that Ghost miss many features, like having an actual preview. And there have been some issues yesterday with 2 almost identical blog posts posted at 1 hour difference. And the first one was deleted, which leads to people posting link on Twitter and on Hacker News and on Reddit that are actually now 404 and things like that. So just trying to streamline and document the process of writing a blog post for people who are new to the blog platform to make sure they don't misstep, and also having a way to review blog posts before actually publishing them. And that's what about it for my week. And the next person is Safia. Safia, are you online?
Yes. So I've spent the past week wrapping up some paperwork for Jupyter Day Chicago, just tabular finance stuff. I've also started giving Anna a helping hand with the planning for Jupyter Day Boston, which is happening in a couple of weeks, and everyone should buy tickets, and I'll put the link up in places. I've also started working on some notebook extensions for a couple of issues that people have brought up in the notebook repository that I think would probably be best implemented as extensions. And Matthias, I have been planning to look through the huge PR and figure out what kind of changes are going on there, and use these simple extensions I'm making as either demos for it or a way to get documentation out. So that's on my radar. I submitted a couple of PRs to the notebook and have a couple of follow-ups to those coming. And then finally, I've been working on a tutorial submission for SciPy called Jupyter Notebooks and Beyond. Hopefully Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't sue me. And so the entire tutorial is just going to address how you can use the notebook APIs and wrappers to customize the setup for your business or your lab. And so the first half is going to cover building kernels, and the second half is going to be building extensions on the new platform. I don't know if we do any coordination with respect to SciPy tutorials, but that's what I've been thinking of submitting. And that's been pretty much it for me for the past week.
Is that SciPy for July?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll probably be pretty far along with Jupyter Lab, so it might be really interesting to integrate a lot of the new customization things that we plan on supporting in the Jupyter Lab in that, or at least write your abstract vaguely enough that you could incorporate it depending on how far along we are.
That's true. Good point. All right, thanks for that. I think Peter is next.
Hey, yeah, I joined late, sorry. A couple things for me. I think Gino's on too, so he'll talk about the widget side. But on the dashboard server, we actually bumped to the Ipy Widgets master. I think Javier sent in a pull request or two to fix a few issues there, but it was pretty painless. You know, things are still working there. All our little demo notebooks, so we're hoping to clean up so that other people can play with this sooner rather than later. All still work, so that was good. Still prepping that UX survey analysis. The branch fork with the branch is linked there in the hackpad if you want the preview. Need to put a little more text in there summarizing our methodology with Justin Tyberg here at IBM and I did. And then we're going to send it as a PR against the Jupyter design repo, and we'll talk about it during the dev meeting. But if you want a preview, most of it's there. And we've just been pushing the ball forward on the dashboard server. Actually put up a little bit of documentation about the API we've got there about posting a notebook to the dashboard server so that it renders as a dashboard and so on. It's a work in progress, but just trying to start filling in some documentation so people could see what the heck this thing is and how to use it. And I think Gino's going to cover the last two here.
Yeah, that's for so from the widget side of things. We've been basically mostly working on porting support to the R kernel. So just this morning, we got all the clearance from internal to put a PR up on the IR kernel project, so to add COM support. So that should be there. Please feedback. We're not really R developers, so if we did anything sacrilegious there, just let us know. We'll change it. And then as we're doing that, we have a work in progress branch on declarative widgets where we're starting to port the support that we need for declarative widgets on top of the R kernel. So
okay, are you planning on implementing the models on the R side for the core widgets?
We can talk that offline. No, so far it's just basically the COM channel support, just basically sending COM open, COM message, and COM close, and handling that protocol.
Do you handle the COM info?
No, but talk to me about that.
Anyway, it's awesome. It's awesome that you guys are doing this.
Yeah, so I put the PR on the hackpad. Just put as much feedback and educate us on what else we need to do, and that's all goodness.
Awesome.
All right, thank you guys. So
I think I'm next.
Carol.
Can you hear me? Okay. I spent most of last week in the Philippines and wanted to let you guys pass along some gratitude from there. The talk selection, pretty much every talk had something to do with Jupyter or IPython notebooks. And that was really awesome. And everybody was really enthusiastic and very grateful of all the work that everybody has done so far. One of the closing keynotes was done by a PhD astronomer, and she took Min's notebook and actually had it working for everybody, which was really pretty cool. One interesting thing that came out of it was people really like the simplicity of the existing notebook. So as we go forward, we want to make sure that we don't lose that as well, because there were some interesting use cases that people were using it for training and engineering team collaboration and cross-team collaboration, which was really interesting. And then the rest of the stuff is just stuff that's upcoming this month. If I'm in San Francisco on the 22nd, and there's something cool at Berkeley on either side. I'd love to join. And that's it for now.
Okay, Chris is not there. Darian, are you on the call?
Yeah. So in the past week, I've been working on this a wrapper for the backbone views that Ipy widgets use, so that they can be phosphor widgets and embeddable in Jupyter.js plugins. And I've also been working with Dave on removing the dependency on jQuery and the dependency on Bootstrap for the widgets. Dave will probably have a lot more to say about that, though. And I also posted a link to some of the widgets that have currently been ported over and work inside the what I'm calling the Jupyter BB widget, but that's it's not the best name. If somebody comes up with a good name for a thing that wraps backbone views, I'd appreciate it. And that's pretty much it for me, I guess. The other thing is actually, some of us might want to talk about this after the call because, because I'm not an expert on some of the stuff I'm touching, and I know that a bunch of you guys know a lot about both MathJax and about the current models and how they interact with the views. So I'll message on Gitter and maybe we can follow up. But that's it for me.
Okay, I think it's me next. So like Darian said, we've been working on removing Bootstrap and jQuery from Ipy widgets. The widgets we're rendering, the issues we have at the moment are with things like callbacks. As soon as those are working, we will, and everything's usable, we'll PR it immediately because it's getting quite big. Other than that, it's going to be basically taking what we've done, hopefully getting that in master, and then using that to get all the widgets working in the Jupyter lab. That's basically the plan for the next few weeks. That's it for me. Oh, sorry, one last thing. The slider we've left in. We had a long chat with John and Jason and Sylvain, and we decided to leave the slider in, even though it uses jQuery UI, just for sort of cross-platform consistency and consistent look and feel and that kind of thing. We might want to revisit that. There's a few options out there that would allow us to keep the consistency without having to use jQuery, but that's now the only remaining dependency in Ipy widgets for jQuery. So up to someone else, I guess, to be able to pull it out completely. But yeah, that's it for me.
Can we make that slider conversation part of Darian's conversation as well?
Absolutely. Yep, the two are intimately related.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I think I'm next. So I don't have too much to report from last week, but this upcoming week I'm going to be at 6CSE, which is the Computer Science and Education Conference, and I'll be presenting a demo of NBGrader there. So I'll report back next week and tell you all how that went.
So I'm next. Min, thanks for merging the Jupyter Lab PR. That's now in master, so anyone's welcome to pull that and play with it and give feedback. I added the file creation, renaming, and deletion semantics that were discussed on the mailing list. Now, if you create a file, it asks you to name it. If you rename a file in the file browser, it renames the open tab so they stay synced. If you delete a file, it'll ask you if you're sure, and then if that file is open in a tab, it'll close that tab. And then if you close a tab that has unsaved changes, it'll prompt you to save it. Now I'm working on bringing the Jupyter.js notebook repo up to parity, hopefully soon, with the existing notebook. And that's about it. Thanks.
Okay, so I've been working on a paper for LPub, which is the electronic publishing conference that we submitted to, and we're going to talk about notebooks as a publication tool. I have a first draft of that sort of basically together now, and if some other people could look over it, that would be great, because I don't really know the style of paper that they're expecting, and I don't really know all of the stuff that I'm trying to talk about, like notebooks in Mathematica and things, because I've never used Mathematica. So the deadline for that is Monday, and then I'm getting ready to go like a week and a half away to Amsterdam. There's a PyData conference there, and Min and I are going to be talking about multi-language support and new and upcoming features.
Cool. I think I'm next. I missed the beginning of the meeting. I'm pretty sure Matthias talked about the NB extension stuff. I see it under his name. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time iterating on that with him and Min. Thank you guys for spending that time. I met with Darian to discuss Ipy Widgets stuff and kind of, coordinate what was going on there and discuss steps forward. I've been looking into docs. The Ipy Widgets docs are a particularly odd case. So I think this week I'm going to talk to Carol in person. I'll be at Cal Poly Wednesday to Friday. Basically, we want to try to be able to put widgets inside our docs, like live widgets in our docs, not necessarily with compute hooked up, but just the JavaScript representations. I think that would be nice for people going through them, and then also kind of improve the narrative content. And lastly, I been getting a lot of issues and problems with Ipy Widgets Installs, and it's kind of a result of the small split. Things are extra complicated as far as the layers of NPM and pip that are involved, like if you want to set up a development install and iterate on the JavaScript. So I'm very aware of that, and I'm trying to scope out better ways to have that whole system working. With the NB extension stuff that we're working on in the notebook, I think that will simplify a lot of that trouble. But until that's actually merged, we won't really know. So I'll keep trying to make that better for everybody, but I think eventually we'll iterate and make something nice out of this. But yeah, that's it for me. Sylvan, I think you're up next.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I haven't been doing much on Jupyter last week. I've iterated a bit on the small split. But this week I have a couple of PRs in the work on IPython and Ipy Widgets, mostly. So the idea being to make the list of help links a configurable thing in IPython, so that users can specify other items to put in that list. And yeah, that's it for me.
Great, and I don't have very much to report from this last week. I worked on the widget roadmap and some various conversations. Hopefully I have a lot more to report next week. Have some time that is being freed up now.
So I did get out a 1.1.1 NB present last night. I think I've got most of the packaging stuff all squared away. Happy for more users and input on that. And I've been diving into the TypeScript Phosphor Webpack, everything in your brother toolchain. That's now the new hotness. Quite lovely stuff. Really, actually working pretty good. Big thanks to the Phosphor team for looping me in how to get started with that. I have had need for a few structured diagram stuff, so I'm looking at picking up Mermaid again. For those of y'all that haven't seen it, Mermaid is a kind of a markdown-like way to build flow diagrams and sequence diagrams and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. And I'm extremely excited about the little demo that Jason threw up there. I know I had seen cool code mirror widgets before, But I think if you can get past the princess problem of picking which widgets to use, that's going to be a really incredible, extensible way to, deliver some really incredible capabilities. So you'd keep the same bare simplicity of the notebook for editing, but have much richer ways to create certain pieces of code. And I think that's a great opportunity to move forward. And then on the other side of the coin, on that same thread, which really needs to split, I think, very excited about some of the discussions around Prosemir, Draft.js, and things that will get us to, a more publishable document model. Really good stuff. And I believe that Anna is next.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? No. Hello?
Yes, we can.
Oh. Okay, great. I have turned my camera on. Okay. So on the operations side of the project, I am working with Matthias and Brian and Katie to launch our Jupyter newsletter. The goal is March 8th for the first iteration, and the idea is that initially that would be published every other week or every 2 weeks. If you have ideas for articles, please share those with me, and we'll work on creating a list of ideas for future iterations of the newsletter also. Another thing I'm working on is that I'll be sending out to you guys this week is a team calendar for all of the conferences that everyone is attending, with the idea that we can kind of share all the different events that we're speaking at, or even just attending at, or participating in some way, so that we can more easily see the conference activities of the entire group. Also, we have finished and closed out the intern recruitment for the summer. So we ended up with 4 software engineers, 3 who will be working directly with Carol, and John will be mentoring them, and then 3 UX designers. So we're losing Cameron for the summer. He's going to Microsoft for an internship. So we have 3 UX designers who will be mentored, hopefully kind of onboarded by Cameron in the spring quarter, and then mentored by mostly Brian, I think. Also, 1 business intern, Katie White, who will be staying on as business intern full-time for the summer. So looking forward to having Safia here at Cal Poly, and to having the new group of students start to contribute to the project. So the 4 engineering students is including you, Safia. So there's 3 new people. And then we've made a program announcement for Jupyter Days Boston. There is significant participation from Project Jupyter. Matthias will be our keynote, so thank you for volunteering and agreeing to do that. And Safia will also be speaking and presenting now that she's run her own Jupyter Day. She's pro and can speak at other Jupyter Day events. So we're excited about that. I believe also Kyle Kelly submitted a talk for that event also. So looking forward to that. I don't have anything new on the dev meeting, but looks like Fernando, is Fernando on the call yet? I know the notes say to leave him to.
No, Fernando is not there yet.
So I don't know. Okay. That's all I have on the operations end of the project. And it looks like Min and Fernando are in a meeting, so
I'm trying to ping them to see if they can come, but they'll probably not be able to make it before before we finish the meeting. So I can try to go through Min and Fernando list quickly. So Min is working on Jupyter Hub for single user on subdomains, which will simplify a lot of deployment. It's been something that I've been requested often and can help with new things. And also it's been working on integrating IPython parallel with distributed. Distributed is something that have been created by Matt Rocklin that works at Continuum to work with Dask, which basically is a way to distribute computation. There are nice blog posts if you Google that on the internet to see. It's a nice way to do parallel computing. It's brand new, so people who are interested in distributed computing should definitively look at that. And I don't know anything about teaching an NTNU, so maybe when you come next week, you can get back onto that. So Fernando was, of course, working with me for all the hiring stuff we are doing here at Berkeley. So the postdoc things is looking good, almost finished, and we are well into the project manager hiring. And Fernando was doing that basically while he was at conference in Austin and in San Francisco also. And he is also pretty busy finishing the grant report for this year that is due today. So that's also one of the reasons he's been silent. He's like doing a lot of stuff. And it seems that they won't be able to join before we close. So does anyone else have something to say for today? Okay, no. So see you next week. Don't forget to post links for the newsletter. We have a repository for that. And see you on the internet, on Gitter, on the mailing list, and all that. Bye.
Bye.